Today's math lesson is about units of time. You're going to be practicing converting hours into minutes and seconds. You're going to need your math journal and a pencil. Pause the video if you don't have them with you, and then go ahead and continue once you have them. At the top of the screen, you see a measurement scale. The measurement scale is first listed in minutes and seconds, and the second scale is hours and minutes. Let's think for a moment. How many minutes are in 1 hour? Well, I can use the scale to locate that. 1 hour is the same thing as 60 minutes. Well, how many seconds are in 1 minute? 1 minute is the same as 60 seconds. Let's take a look at these first two questions. Does it take you 2 minutes or 120 seconds to brush your teeth? Let's take a look. 2 minutes. Now I'm noticing here that the units are different. So you need to pay attention to that. Since they're different, I'm going to want to convert one of them to make it the same. I'm going to first convert 2 minutes into seconds. Let's go ahead and look at the scale. 2 minutes is the same thing as 120 seconds. So 2 minutes is the same thing as 120 seconds. So they would be the same. Second question, does it take you 60 minutes or 600 minutes to clean your room? I'm going to look at the unit on this one, and they are both the same. 60 minutes is the same thing as 1 hour. So 600 minutes would be a lot more time. So it takes me closer to 60 minutes or 1 hour to clean my room. Let's use the scale to find out how many minutes are in 3 hours. I'm going to first look, I want to know hours and minutes, so I'm going to use this scale. I'm going to look at the hours time. 1, 2, 3 hours is the same thing as 180 minutes. Now, what if I didn't have my scale? I would first need to know that 1 hour is the same thing as 60 minutes. 60 minutes in an hour. So then if I know that there are 3 hours, and each one of those is worth 60 minutes, I could add each of those together. So just like 1 hour plus 1 hour plus 1 hour equals 3 hours, I could add 60 plus 60 plus 60, and that equals, well, I know 60 plus 60 is 120, plus another 60 would be 180, and now we're talking minutes. That's exactly what we saw on the scale. This activity is similar to when we were converting feet to inches. Let's look at this next scenario. A student spent 4 hours and 20 minutes working on a school project. How many minutes is that? Well, so far we have part of it that already is in minutes, but notice this one is 4 hours. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is convert my hours into minutes. I already remember that 3 hours was the same as 180 minutes. We had just done that with the last question. 1 more hour is the same as 60 minutes. and then I would add them together. So 4 hours is the same thing as 240 minutes. I could use my scale here, 4 hours, 240 minutes. Now the question said, I want to go back and reread to make sure that I have it all correct. A student spent 4 hours and 20 minutes. So I already figured out 4 hours, but I also need to add on 20 more minutes. So 240 minutes plus another 20 minutes. My answer is 260 minutes. So here's a question, and I kind of alluded to this on the page before. If I knew the number of minutes in 3 hours, how can I use that to identify the number of minutes in 6 hours? So 3 hours is the same thing as 180 minutes. Now I want to use this information to help me with this question. I know that 3 plus 3 equals 6. So that means if I use 3 hours here and another 3 hours, that's going to equal 6 hours. So if 3 hours is 180 minutes, another 3 hours is another 180 minutes, and I would add them together. So 6 hours is equal to 360 minutes. So what I did is, since I knew 3, I doubled it. 3 plus 3 is 6. You're going to continue to work on this with your math journal. On page 49, you're going to be using the measurement scale, which is at the top of your page, and you're going to convert your hours to minutes and minutes to seconds. Make sure you are looking carefully at your headings. Both 1 and 3 are changing from hours to minutes. On 2 and 4, you are changing from minutes to seconds. The first one, the first measurement scale, is minutes to seconds, and the hours to minutes is the second one. So let's keep in mind, if I have 1 hour, how many minutes? So I'm going to look right here. 1 hour is the same thing as 60 minutes. You can use the scale to finish the rest. Be careful so you're watching what the numbers say here. You'll use the scale above it for number 2, minutes to second. 1 minute is how many seconds? I look at my 1 minute. It is 60 seconds. And again, make sure you are watching your minutes to make sure you're checking for the seconds. On number 3, you are using hours to minutes. Now here, we need to fill in the hours. Let's see, how many hours equals 600 minutes? Is it on my scale? I notice here that there's 600 minutes. How many hours is that? 10. I also know that if I did 60 times 10, I would be adding another 0 to 60, which makes it 600. But if you look at the chart now, it doesn't go any further than 10 hours. But these all have more than 10 hours. So you're going to need to double or look at the two together. So let's take a look at this one. 15 hours. Well, I know that 15 can be added by 10 and 5. equals 15. So if I did 10 hours and 5 hours, I should be able to get to how many minutes? We already found in the graph, for the measurement scale, that 10 hours is the same thing as 600 minutes. How many hours, or how many minutes is 5 hours? I'm going to look up here. Here's my 5 hours. That is 300 minutes. If I'm adding 600 plus 300, I'm going to have 900 minutes. So then on my chart, I would write 900. You would do the same thing for these three answers. Likewise, when we look at minutes to seconds, for number 4, this one's talking about 11 minutes. Notice that our chart only goes up to 10. I know that 10 minutes plus 1 minute is the same thing as 11 minutes. So we're going to use the number of seconds in 10 minutes, which is 600. And we're going to use the number of seconds in 1 minute, which is 60. Then when I add them together, we have 660 seconds. You will finish filling out the rest on your own. Make sure that you take a picture and send it to your teacher, whether it is through Seesaw or through Canvas, or however your teacher has asked you to submit it. You're also going to work on page 50. On this one, there are 5 questions in which it's kind of a scenario. Make sure when you're doing this that you are converting the right amount in each one. Let's look at number it's 6. It takes Kanya 8 minutes to walk to school, but it takes Tyrone 18 minutes. How many more seconds does it take Tyrone than Kanya? So they're asking for seconds. Since they gave you the information in minutes, you're going to need to convert. 8 minutes is how many seconds? I'm going to start that part over. Okay, so 8 minutes equals how many seconds? Make sure you go back and you can look at your chart. So 8 minutes is 480 seconds. Then we need to find out for Tyrone. His is 18 minutes. Well, 18 minutes is more than we have on the chart. But again, for 18 minutes, we can use 10 minutes and 8 minutes to make 18. 10 minutes was 600 seconds. 8 minutes was 480 seconds. How many more seconds does it take Tyrone than Kanya? I have a little guess because Kanya was 8 minutes. Tyrone was 18. Remember we just did 10 and 8. So if I took away the 8 minutes, because they both had that, 18 minus 8 is 10. So 10 minutes, the answer would be 600 seconds. You are going to continue to work on this on your own. Again, you're going to upload your picture of page 50 as well for your teacher, whether it is Canvas, Seesaw, or in the inbox.